Stepping in the dance, looking like Shabba. Gold rings, gold chains, shining. Gold chaps, gold teeth when I rhyme it.
Stepping at the dance, it's a madness. Even Shabba knew about my rankings. I'm a general, old school with it. 2-step to boom, I get Boruto with it. Dancing on my section, but we share a love from a distance.
Hey yo, what's happening? It's your boy Senator. I'm back here with another Boruto review. But this time, it's gonna be a Boruto Car Actuation Arc Part 2, plus Training Arc, plus Divine Tree Arc, which is practically part of the car arc. So, if you've watched Boruto 175, which I have, 10 out of 10, but after 9 out of 10, because the main thing I have is, where did Boruto get all that chakra from? Training, don't say that. Rest, yes, but where? There's so much good that has come out from the past the past episodes in the car actuation arc that the car actuation arc is so far being a 10 out of 10 season. Training arc 10 out of 10. 10 times better than so much. This arc is 10 times better than even episode 65 alone. Yes, it's debatable, but there's so much beauty that went into episode 175. But once again, this is not about 175 alone. Oh no, but it's about the training arc. It's about the car actuation and what led to it and the importance. So, in basic, something that led to this was that the training of both Boruto and Sakura. Technically, as you know, whether you're an OG Naruto fan or a Boruto fan that knows the Naruto fandom just a bit, but knows Boruto a lot, those who pay attention will know Boruto and Sakura are geniuses. Ultimately, them working hard didn't really contribute that much. Cause one thing they mentioned, which should be common knowledge to anyone who is hoping to go into professional sports or anything that requires performance, hard work, and training, is practically useless unless it's tested out. So ultimately, if you grow out by constantly performing, you'll be an absolute badass that you don't really need to train and doing it for fun. But in the Shinobi's instance, Sakura learned how to master her one-to-one Sharingan, because in her first fight with Deepa, along with everyone else, she was using it, but Sasuke was just telling her, well, practically giving her advice such as don't focus on one object with the Sharingan, expand your vision and just flow. So the thing is, Sasuke never really trained his Sharingan. Sasuke went constantly on mission. This is why Sasuke was absolute badass. With Sasuke, he was trained with the curse mark, but by going on missions by Orochimaru, by carrying out torture missions by Orochimaru, just like how Star Killer from Jedi Force Unleashed. No matter how much torture Darth Vader put Star Killer under, Star Killer never really showed up his true power unless being performed. Same thing with Boruto and Sakura. Same thing with how Boruto and Sakura were trained by their respective senseis. Kakashi a bit different, but still dope. Growth from Sakura giving me a whole new perspective on Sakura, so I'm starting to respect Sakura a bit more than the useless bitch she was in Naruto. Even though at times she wasn't totally useless, because she was viable in many parts, even Naruto's part. But anyway, go check out Naruto Explained, because if you've seen that one clip, that part. But anyway, ignoring all that. So basically, the important parts for, let's say, Boruto has finally have at least 2 new Rasengan, plus his regular Rasengan and plus his invisible Rasengan, vanishing Rasengan, which shouldn't have worked against Moshiki. Thankfully, it didn't work against Orochiki, because Oroshiki's a whole new topic I'll cover later on. But anyway, he learned the Wind Style Rasengan, which is something Naruto has, but for Boruto it has green green rays around it, and it doesn't pack as much punch as the high compression wrestling gun, in which he shrinks his wrestling gun, making it a highly volatile, docile, wind-style compressed wrestling gun, as small as the vanishing wrestling gun, but it's condensed more with wind style, giving it an extra punch. So one episode, Kakashi was like, okay, I want to see if it works. He put him against, in the, I forgot his name, Mujina Bandit's arc boss. I forgot his name, but basically, Boruto put him up against him. If Boruto wins, well, Boruto wins. But if he loses, then he gets years removed in his sentence. So Boruto takes him on. Great speed demonstrates, just like he demonstrated with Boruto. One thing I think we who are OGs are starting to notice that Boruto has some sort of quick body flicker, not like Sushi's, because Sushi's is flicker is amped up by his Sharingan. Actually, as long as you have a Sharingan and you're a full blood Uchiha, it's bound to amp up your body with a flicker too. But for Boruto, for being the grandson of Minato and also having, I mean, we do not know where and when he has a quicker body flicker, because if you've seen his fight with the boss, the first fight, he was teleporting around with him, and now it's really smooth fighting. But anyway, he uses both his wrestling guns. The first one known as Impact. Second one, blast him just like he did with Deepa. But at that part, there's so much that happened there, because one major thing I have mentioned already is, where did Boruto get that chakra to first make at least 7 clones, because one Boruto lemon is only 3. And I've mentioned in a previous video that Himura and Boruto, sure, the Uzumaki, but Uzumaki's chakra is not abundant. It's not the Uzumaki's life force is strong. This is why Kushina, Naruto, Mito, and Karin, excuse me, but the 3 I have mentioned already are all Biju owners of Kurama. As for Karin, I think her life force is the reason why she's able to take so many medical bites, chakra medical bites, and also to have the chains that can hold the 9 tails, hold the Buddha statue, and yeah. But ultimately, but ultimately, you cannot really say that. Well, it's not that you can't. It's just that it's not there. Boruto shouldn't have had much chakra to make some clones, but putting that to the side, the fight was absolute badass. But leading up to it was very important as well. So one thing I have forgot to mention, which I think I've mentioned already, of how Team Shikadai and Team Shinki. Thank you. I forgot to mention his name in the Kara Actuation Part 1. Check it out in my videos, and also check out my new channel coming up, which is Reaper Plays. Currently, I have a new gameplay up for it, but I'll tell you later after this video. So basically, they get stumped. Shinki also gets stumped really badly. Ultimately, his move that he was going to impale Mitsuki with doesn't do a thing to Deepa. Deepa was like, maybe I should kill him, but he's like, nah. That ultimately he hit the puppet, which was something Deepa was after for. Tornadi's puppets. Even though Tornadi is sealed away by Urushiki, like, there's so much about Urushiki that I want to say in this video, but we say in the video all the time. But you guys understand my pain with Urushiki. He had too much potential. Deepa performed like, here's the thing: Deepa is not stronger than Urushiki, but the thing is, he performed in a way that he was everything Urushiki was to become villain-wise as an antagonist. His end at 175, beautiful. His fights, even though he only fought at least 3 times, stomping teams once to make them stronger. If we're being honest, power scaling wise, they only got but a much more techniques. They only got stronger in the fight. Their training almost did half of what happened there. Because ultimately, yes, you learn, But being in the performance is where everything else gets tested. Mitsuki doesn't need that train. He's a living weapon. Thankfully, Log was able to help him in the donation, and also just and understanding brother Orochimaru was there. But I'll also get to that too, because there's so much 173, 174. I mean, there's one episode I didn't really cover 172, but I forgot about that. You know what? For my own, yeah, Orochimaru, of course. I'm probably gonna check out 172 because that's filler, which no one really looked at. But I'm gonna look at it regardless. And I might just do a 172 episode review, even though no one really cares about that episode. But this one would be uploaded first, basically. So moving on. So we move on to Kanhamu and Mujino. Currently spying on Victor. They got into the facilities by being disguised as the local, no, by the nation. I forgot land of water, land of waves. I forgot. The land as the feudal lord's bodyguards got in, saved them from Genjutsu. The beauty of the technology shown to put them under a Genjutsu, and so much has been put into the past 3 episodes from 173, 174, 175. So much fire has been shown. 174 and the Begun thought slayers with Orochimaru and just how fast he is. Because if you've seen Mitsuki versus Orochimaru, no, Log versus Orochimaru, Orochimaru's fast. He's gotten a lot stronger. Like the thing is, we don't really know Orochimaru's brute full strength, because the only time we ever saw him go out was against 4 tail cloaks Naruto, but Orochimaru is an absolute savage. He's not been going all out on Victor, who's slapping around poor Konohamaru. Yes, Konohamaru is strong, but he's surprised that Victor knows every single chakra nature, and of course this brought me to the point of third Hokage, right? It brought me to the point of, can Victor beat the third Hokage? I'm gonna make a video on that, but basically, I want to say no, especially that the third Hokage has the Reaper Death Seal, Bringer of Darkness, Genjutsu, but Victor has like so much that can help him. But I don't think we have seen Victor's full capabilities, even though he can regenerate, but it's not perfect because Orochimaru has perfect regen because of the Hashirama cell. But what I thought for a brief second was because of Zetsu, but I think his connection with the Zetsu is kind of there, but not really there. But anyway, if you're seeing so in basic, I'm gonna wrap this up. Even though the fight, let me end it with the fight. 10 out of 10 fight. Bringing that to an 9 out of 10 because I got a problem with the chakra. Basically, Orochimaru slaps around Victor to the point that Victor tries to eat the divine fruit. Actually, we never got to saw it fully, but it eats him up. I'm like, Orochimaru and I have the same thing going on. Pitiful. But anyway, the fight with Deepa doesn't move or get into action with Boruto and just doing, because they're doing basic techniques. Because the thing is, already Boruto and Sakura haven't gotten stronger because of their training. In the performance, it didn't look as they got stronger. In fact, Boruto's the one suffering the most, because the only way Boruto was ever gonna get out alive is if he used his karma or his Jogan, which would give him an overwhelming advantage. But I haven't read the manga part on how Boruto gets or how Boruto trains with Kawaki, but I might just read it from my own downtime. I'm not sure it's here because, copyright, but I don't care anymore. Somewhat. But anyway. So, in basic, Sakura tanks an attack from Boruto and does a epic Boruto. Well, not really Boruto, it's just Boruto. Saves Boruto and then allows her to Tomorrow's Sharingan. And thanks for that, she gets an increase in chakra and starts brawling with Deepa momentarily, because it's kind of like how Naruto was brawling with Kaguya, but also momentarily. Kaguya was way stronger than Naruto, still is. I would still say, even though they've gotten stronger, and yes, Saruka was able to brawl with Deepa for like a couple minutes and then got smacked away. Boruto Mitsuki smacked away, especially since Deepa is kind of not holding back. I mean, with surprisingly, think about it, guys. Deepa never, when he went up against Amoy, he was holding back a lot. He went up against Team 7 the first time, still holding back. When he went up against Team Shigadai, Team Shinki, holding back majorly. And every time he attacks, they are done. Especially Shinki. This only means Team 7 are superior. Amoy and him being a Jonin, it's starting to look, especially with Mitsuki's Sage Mode, which, yeah, Mitsuki is starting to, like, if he had, like, Eternal Sage Mode, it would be a definitely stronger, but his Sage Mode now, if he were to use it much, much more often, I would say Mitsuki, well, no, he's already stronger than most Genin and any that most Jonin, because Boruto and Mitsuki are practically on the rank of Jonin combat wise, even though officially they're not labeled as. Sara was about to, but then no, but then Naruto's like, yeah, we're just gonna give it off Bart. So I'm like, oh my god, Mitsuki, we haven't seen him perform much, even though he was very impressive. We're gonna give it to Shinki, to Shigadai, which I agreed, but also I felt like Sara also deserved it too, especially that is very important for Sara. Anyway, Sara gets her two to my smack that Mitsuki hasn't used his Sage Mode, but he does use it at the end by giving Boruto a Raseng, a chakra boost, because Boruto was gonna have his arm ripped off. Sada was, so I'm glad that they didn't pull any ass pull with this, because because the realistic thing that was gonna happen was that Boruto get his arm ripped off and get a new one. But Boruto was gonna die unless Mitsuki and Sada came in and did a combined high conversion Rasengan, which blew apart Deepa's true form, which I think was really cool. And Deepa died, which sucked. But he was like the Hisoka, the Joker, everything we all dreamed of Urushiki would be, but Urushiki's a bit too strong power scaling wise and not performance wise, because there's only so much you can know about Urushiki, and based on if he was holding back, there's so much about Urushiki. But in basic, Orochimaru comes in and badass, etc. So what do I think? What are the future implications of what will happen? For one, Boruto and Sakura have gotten stronger, especially Sakura. Mitsuki's back. Boruto has two new Rasengans. The thing with the clones is like how Boruto can only make three. It's been definitely confirmed. If you've seen Kakashi versus Boruto, Boruto can definitely make three. The only reason why he was able to make a whole army, it was because his classmates transformed into Boruto clones. Then Kakashi punched them, but it turned back into their regular form. So ultimately, that make no sense. That's something that is a bit annoying power scaling wise. In fact, there are other ones I think they could have done it, but anyway. So far, car actuation arc, training arc, 10 out of 10. But the final, but 175 9 out of 10 because of that part. Everything else they did fine. Konohamaru kind of was thrown to the side. Mojino did his part. So basically, the part I forgot to mention was how they handled the situation with Victor. Victor was biting him. There's secretary who's bad at hell, got a body, gets sliced up real fast by Orochimaru, just like how Orochimaru batters Victor. But in any case, Orochimaru slaps around Victor, but doesn't end him. He just having fun with him. So, in all, teams have gotten much stronger mentally. This doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that Team 7 are stronger than Deepa or stronger than any outers. Because, first off, first fight, lost badly. They almost died. Second fight, they almost had the same result, even when Sora had her tuned Tomoe Sharingan unlocked. It's weird that Sora didn't use her body flicker, but well, somewhat. So in general, Team 7 have gotten stronger mentally. The two inners are gone. Well, Deepa's not really dead. If I remember in the manga, Crash and Koji murders a dead motherfucker. But anyway, in basic, fine episode. Car Actuation arc is practically done, I think. I believe so. I need to read the manga, but anyway, it's been your boy, Son of Sun Reaper. Boruto's back in action, where it's supposed to be. We're out.
LB saying go na na na, go na na na.